Welcome to your doom.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Gabby Garcia.
6'2".
Honestly, she's like one of the top jiu-jitsu black belts.
I'd pay for her OnlyFans. Just curling dudes and blowing them.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a joke like that where, you're looking at porn one night and you're like flipping through stuff and you flip through something fast and your brain registers it, but you kind of flip by and your subconscious was like, was that guy benching that other guy?
I'm not going back.
But it's like while blowing him? I'm like, no, that's impossible, brain. We don't got to go back and confirm that can happen.
I don't need to like scroll back and then feel this.
Yeah,
I don't need my dick to be like,
just look.
what was that? Hey, like unfurl.
Yeah, Dick's like, I don't know. It's fun. That's a you problem.
Like, listen, yeah, I'd be like, listen, like this happens in a bumpy bus ride, so I don't need.
Welcome to the Non-Essentials Podcast. We're going with that. We're keeping that one.
Fuck.
We're keeping that one. Episode 121.
I'm Adam. Sorry, Mom Riley.
I'm Jake. I'm sorry, Adam's mom too. Bussy. Let's get the nice cities out of the way real quick. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Thank you very much. I'm supposed to say that. We also have a Patreon page.
Yeah, Jake's OnlyFans.
And it's not a bad idea. We should finally
I really want to do an OnlyFans for the podcast, but it's just us posing with fans.
Yeah, like we go to antique shops and find like really old
but
ones.
But I will literally like be naked with just a fan blade in between my feet.
I mean, if that gets money, that's easy money.
Is it like that? That's a tiny fan.
It's a blowjob, technically.
It's a tiny fan blade.
You're not gonna laugh at blowjob? All right.
Oh fuck.
Okay. I wanted to go right into did you see the power? I had all this stuff ready to go. Did you see Powerball got massive again?
The only reason why I know it is because I started seeing memes like "Congratulations to the IRS for winning whatever such and such millions or billions, whatever."
Well, so it got up over $1 billion again, and I had basically like 7 things you should do, and then when I went to check before we started here, someone just won in LA 20 minutes ago. Well, like maybe an hour ago now, and it was a single ticket winner, and they won $1.08 billion, and I was like. It was the ticket was purchased at Las Palmitas Mini Market, so I looked this place up, and that's the one I showed you. It's literally.
Oh my God, that was in America.
Yeah, it's the one where the door is like the it looks like Tijuana. It's like one with the garage door you just like lift up, and I'm like, this is the start of a movie.
Yeah,
there is one.
I feel like isn't that a movie with Nicolas Cage?
That is a good movie, yeah.
Like, well, if I get this one,
yeah,
so I can't leave a tip, but
oh yeah, that's right. Find out what movie that's a good movie. Where
it's like Rosie Perez.
Yeah, he can't tip her, so he
Are
offers
you the
her.
fact checker now since Tony's not
here. He offers her half of the winnings, and then he wins the lottery.
Yeah,
and he comes back, and I think his wife's met him.
But I think what should have really happened is I didn't win the lottery. I guess here's your 20% of the bill. The pie, and
you wouldn't give her more than that?
I would. Yeah, I would.
I'd give her like 20, but I was going to say I wanted to go into a little bit of this.
Okay.
But I do have the 7 things you should do. I always kind of made the joke that like the first thing you should do is hire a lawyer, and the second thing you should do is hire a better lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
to protect you from the first one.
Yeah.
But they say if you do win the lottery, you find yourself fortunate enough to win the lottery, first thing you do is get a lawyer, second, security, third, accountant, fourth, tax attorney, then financial advisor, estate planner, attorney, and a personal assistant.
Now, this is not you're not coming up with this. You looked this up.
This was this was before I knew someone had won. I had this like ready to go.
I was gonna say because this is usually what happens with lottery winners is they buy 5 Ferraris and a $5 million house and then blow their brains out.
I think they say
in 6 years.
It could happen to you.
It could happen to
you is the name of the movie.
It won't though.
I think statistically, I think it is. It's like 70% of lotto winners. I think within 4 or 5 years are technically bankrupt.
Yeah,
and a lot of it,
new money.
A lot of it is they don't know how to have money, and they also don't know how to protect themselves when they have money because people are good at getting it from you.
Yeah. I saw a thing where this girl, she's like, she goes, my uncle like sent me a message. He's like, hey, can I borrow like $500? I need it, whatever. She's like, I didn't really know what to think about it, so I like responded. I was like, hey, yeah, is everything okay? He goes. And then he responded like a couple days later. He's like, yeah, everything's fine. I just I won the lottery and I put that thing out just to see who was he won a small amount of money, but he was just threw that out
That's his Bronx tale.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it was his test to see like the people that respond like, yeah, man, I can loan you some money. Like those are the people he would help out. And I was like, that's fucking brilliant. You know, like
it's smart. It's a good way to test. And I, for one, would like to invite the winner of this $1.08 billion onto the podcast to tell his story.
Yeah.
But as of right now, thankfully, this guy's smart enough to like hopefully be getting lawyer, security, accountant, tax attorney, all that in line. Because I don't know if California is a place where you have to. Some states let you accept it anonymously, others do not. But I also found out you can establish a trust in a state where you can accept it anonymously, photocopy the ticket, put it in a safe, and the trust can accept it. Because most importantly, you do not want people to know.
No, not at all.
Like I would hire someone to say they want it. Be like, I will give you $10 million to say you want $1 billion.
Yeah.
I'll fuck off. I'll be fine.
No, I mean it's a great idea.
I'd go with it. So congratulations to you, Senor. I imagine. So,
I'm kind of curious.
Senorita.
I'm kind of curious. Like now, lately we've been doing the things with the having Jake figure out how he's gonna bond with his children with his new slang.
Yeah, I've been using the new slang.
What are some of the new slang terms that you've learned lately?
I've learned to throw Riz around with a lot of Riz, which means charisma.
Yeah.
And also, when the kids are inside watching too much TV, I tell them to go touch grass.
Did their eyes cross a little bit when you tell them? They're like,
couldn't want to know where I was getting it from. So
a man in his 40s a white guy in his 40s on a podcast. That's who's.
Well, it's also great because nothing makes their lingo worthless more than me knowing it.
Yeah, well, it's like suddenly makes it way less cool.
Yeah,
you know, like, but like I do you have any other examples of that?
Using it?
Yeah.
No. He knows I use it now, so I'm just kind of playfully being like, "Gotta have Riz out there on the ball field, otherwise you're not going to connect."
So I've actually gotten to tell people to touch grass recently. I think that's pretty funny. But I'm gonna start off with.
Yeah, another one?
Yeah, right. Are you ready for another one?
Of course I am.
All right, so
I'm finally connecting with kids.
Yeah,
don't. That
hold on
sounds awful.
Isolate that audio, please.
With mine.
Isolate that audio, please. No, I think the best part is that Jake lives literally across the street from the school.
Well, I gotta be careful.
Yeah, if you're not careful, you're gonna have to move.
Yeah.
So there's just gonna be like some cop shaking his head like every time there's like recess looking at your window.
Tell him to go touch grass.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right. So now for our new listeners, what we're gonna do here is I've written 3 examples down here, and 2 of them are fake, 1 of them is real, and Jake is going to have to figure out which one of them is the real one. All right. So with this being said, no kizzy.
No kizzy?
No kizzy.
Okay.
And so, it is a Namuzu reference. Yo, your hair messy is giving me. I'm sorry, your messy hair is giving me no kizzy vibes.
All right.
Number 2, not lying. Yo, the Non-Essentials podcast is great. No kizzy. Or number 3, cat. Yo, every apartment complex has a no kizzy rule.
I would go with the second one because my instinct was no kidding.
Okay.
Which would mean like,
all right.
Which is Adam probably leading me down the wrong path. It probably means cat because, kids are stupid.
All right.
Anyone from the audience? We got number 1.
Okay, so I'm going to read them again. So number 1, it is a Namuzu reference. It means.
What is Namuzu? Can I ask that?
It's a Japanimation thing.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah.
All right. So your messy hair is giving me no kizzy vibes. Number 2, not lying. Yo, the Non-Essentials podcast is great. No kizzy.
I'm going to change my answer to number 1.
So number 3.
Because anime's
Number 3 is
tricky.
cat. Yo, every apartment complex has a no kizzy rule.
I'm going with number 1.
Everyone, 1? What are you at? 1? What? You're 2?
Going with
You're
number
going
1.
one?
I changed
Right.
it. The
All right.
anime was like, all right.
All right. So Namuzu, Namazu, is a Japanese word for catfish.
Ah, got me.
I got you. Good, you fucker. Anyway, so
wait, we're gonna stop cursing so much so we don't get banned on TikTok. We gotta wait till 10:30 till we can stream
so
on
silly.
TikTok.
Yeah, we got flagged for hate speech.
Yeah, but
on
we get
TikTok
banned for a week, which is perfect.
Yeah. Anyway,
we
I must have been talking about dick farts or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
what the cuss are you talking about?
So the slang "no kizzy" is used with the meaning "no lie" or "I'm not kidding" to add emphasis to a statement "no kizzy" to in a similar meaning as like "no cap."
Sure.
So there you go. And by the way, I'm real proud of the fact I literally looked up the Japanese word for catfish.
It was good. I gotta say the anime stuff
I'm
is
happy with that.
like the anime stuff is weird. A quick story with my daughter. I remember one time she walked into the kitchen and she asked for something just like something like a an apple or something like that. And I was cooking dinner. And I'm like, no, I'm making dinner. And then she, to my eyes, threw her head back and screamed. Like she screamed so loud, I thought she like stepped on a nail or something. And her arms were like flexed at her side. And then I took a moment. I realized it's like she's crying the way little kids in anime cry, where they, in her mind, there was a waterfall of tears like touching the ground at the same time. So anime threw a big curveball.
I'm going to tell you something
my kid's
disturbing,
emotion.
and actually, I'm going off the cuff here, but I don't have this written down. But I remember, like, I'm not a fan of anime. I've talked shit on it, like I know
like
you,
anime.
you don't mind it, but I'm going to ruin it for you. So, yeah, I know that anytime I've seen anime, I'm like, this is Japanimation. Like, why do they look like Westerners, right? Why don't they have like stereotypical? You already know this. Yeah. Okay, so great. Anyway,
All right, what is it? All right.
So the concept here is that manga anime. The reason why they look they're not supposed to look Westerners or Japanese because they are cats. They are cats.
No kizzy?
No kizzy. No kizzy. They're kizzies. So, but like if you look at side profiles and everything like that.
Then what's a cat in there? They have cats in anime.
Well, hold on a sec. So
Those
when
are
you
people?
when you look at manga and anime and God, tongue twister. When you look at manga anime, and you can actually see there's show videos where it's like it's showing like, oh my God, the nose shape, the face shape, everything. It's a fucking cat. It's backed up too. Yeah, it's like it's legit, which means, and I asked, and I'm not gonna say who, but I asked somebody that we work with, who's like super into anime. I go, you beat off to anime, right? He's like, yeah, I have. I go, when? When's the last time? He goes, 16. I go, minutes ago? And he goes, no, when I was 16. I was like, you know that makes you a furry, right?
Technically.
So technically.
We're all finding out things.
Yeah, so if you beat off to manga anime porn, you're a furry. Because you're beating off the cats.
So.
Feel free to cut that, but I just
an Arizona man is suing. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, how many times? That means Jake beats off. Jake's a furry. Yuck! I'm quitting the. I don't feel comfortable around you. We have an HR.
16 minutes ago. Anyways, so an Arizona man is suing a body donation company for selling his mother's body to a military blast testing company. I checked. It's real.
I know what you're talking about, and it happened. It happened a while. I'm sorry.
5 years ago. No, yeah. 5 years ago. Doris died in hospice of Alzheimer's.
She had like dementia or Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's, terrible. Okay, and so her son donated to the Biologic Resource Center, the BRC. In 2016, Reuters contacted the son. His last name's Stuffer, which kind of made me laugh. Claiming more than 20 bodies were used in the U.S. blast experiments without consent of the deceased or the next of kin, and even a few were done against the objection of the families.
I have to say, what I had heard too is that the guy, he got like a cremated remains, and it was like a small amount or something like that. They're like, we think this is her hand,
it's like
or something like that,
shrapnel.
And he's like, he's like, what? Because I know that like a lot of times, and don't get me wrong, like donating your body to science, like I like years ago when the podcast first started, I talked about like the Tibetan sky burials. I'm like, I would totally do.
Let's ask the audience, what do you want to do with your body?
I don't care. Please, I want a pod.
Pod? Okay,
like
the tree pod, right?
Those are cool.
Okay. The I don't care reminds me of Always Sunny in Philadelphia with, I'm dead, just throw me in the trash.
Yeah.
I have 3.
3?
I have
Pod?
I have the thing you said. And
Sky
I have,
burial?
Tibetan sky burial.
To science.
To
Okay,
science.
yeah.
For
Like
for listeners, Tibetan sky burial is they feed it to basically buzzards in the
Yeah.
mountains, and they
Yeah.
they cut the bones off, and it's
they don't even cut the bones off. They just drag the bodies out. You can see it on YouTube. It's kind of like gnarly, but it's also like, hey man, like life
I think
is
it's a cool way to
like
go.
death is as natural as life. So in birth, so it's like it's kind of like
I've seen a new one. I don't think this one exists, but I think this one would be low cost and it would be great. Submarine implosion. Now hear me out on this. Hear me out. Because like you sink it. You get like a barge, you seal it, you sink it. You just got to get it below the sharks that would enjoy eating us.
yeah. So
like
the crabs,
like every crabs down there, all the whales of the world, they get eaten. Every whale drowns because it can't get air. It's the saddest thing ever, except the ones that get on the beach and explode on
Yeah.
YouTube. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It just
but I was thinking like people just put them in there, let them sink low enough.
sounds
and
like
whoop,
like Uber Eats for crabs.
Yeah, we got to give
Tell
back.
'em
We got to give
large
back to
barge
the ocean.
sent ya.
But the thing is, the thing that they measured with the body was damage caused by roadside bombs.
Oh, I didn't get to finish saying.
Oh, sorry.
Like, I'm sorry. So, I'm interrupting, but I apologize. But I like the idea of donating your body to science because it's like, I don't know, like med school students, they get to like learn things and like you potentially save lives. I also like the idea of the body farm, and I don't know if you know what the body farm is.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what the body farm is literally they will put your body out in the elements, and they will put it through they'll lay it out on the surface of the ground, or they'll put it in a shallow grave or like whatever. But like in like CSI when they're like, well, we could tell that the body's been here for this many days because this particular insect is in this larva status, right?
Gil Grissom. Yep.
There you go. Yeah. Which I think that is like an amazing thing to do because in my opinion, you're kind of like you're contributing towards a concept of like, catching killers or whatever, or helping people find closure. I don't know. It's like when I'm dead, it's like, who fucking cares, right?
I have another proposal for bodies. I want the Bill Hicks burial. Put me in the movies.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know what Bill Hicks is, he had a great joke about like, just put me in the background of like an action scene where I get my head cut off. Give me to James Cameron. I'm fine with it.
Just go ship it.
Yeah. Dude, you imagine, I just want my family to be like, that's Grandpa. There he goes. Like,
yeah. Anyway, but no, so I saw, the particular story you're talking about, and I don't want to steal your thunder here, but they were talking about how he got like this small amount. He's like, the hand? I'm getting a cremated hand? The fuck's the rest of her body? And then he started like looking into it, and Reuters was like, ooh.
Dude, there's some gnarly stuff
so
I
go
got.
ahead. Yeah, let's hear it.
So
I'm going off the cuff here, so
I think the thing that bothers me is to where it was like, there was probably funeral costs to where it's like, how about why, like, for the Army, be like, Army, just have a surplus store. We can take them down there and sell them, cover the funeral costs, the remembrance of life. Because it worked out to $5,893.
I'm just laughing that you called it Army.
I don't know.
Like Arrested Development. Going to Army, Mom.
Yeah. I don't know. So
hello, Army.
So it says, when a body is donated, few states provide rules governing dismemberment or use and offer any rights to donors' next of kin. Reuters explained in part one of the series published in 2017, bodies and parts can be bought, sold, and leased again and again. As a result, it can be difficult to track what becomes of the bodies of donors, let alone ensure that they are handled with dignity.
Would it be like leggies and armies, or just?
I saw you were like boiling with this over there. I'm like, let me get through the quote. All right.
I'm like, I got something else that's stupid.
So
hold on.
I guess the guy in charge of this, Stephen, last name Gore, exactly how it sounds, pled guilty to 1 year of deferred jail time and 4 years of probation. Doesn't seem like enough. Buckle up for this next part. In a civil suit filed last week, revealed disturbing new details about the 2014 FBI raid at a facility. During the BRC raid, which was part of the multi-state investigation, the FBI found buckets of body parts and the bodies of different people sewn together at the facility. KTVK reports.
Yeah, didn't they do like a Frankenstein thing?
Yeah. One FBI agent testified that he found a, quote, cooler filled with male genitalia.
Oh, yeah.
A bucket of heads, arms, and legs.
Oh, that's just a dick box over there. There's no bigs.
Infected heads.
And it's cold in there. Don't judge them.
What is that, igloo? Is that a Yeti? You know, you get enough in there, it cools. You get more room. and a small woman's head sewn onto a large male torso.
Yeah, I saw
like
that.
Frankenstein
Yeah.
hanging on the wall. I'm sorry to laugh, but you
It's
have
so
to
macabre.
gallows humor this to where you're just like, just a year in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, put him in the movies. They're already putting them in the movies. I
Yeah.
think there's cell phone videos people had to delete when this came out. They're like, oh my god, I'm going to jail.
That's so intense. Because I mean that's just one facility. That shit's happening right now.
But
Right now, a dick is sewn on like a little kid's forehead that it's stapled to a wall somewhere.
is
You
it
know,
bad?
like-
I'm just like, just pay for the body and then do whatever.
The only thing I can think of is that like if is that because I believe it's like 6,000, right?
Yeah, about $6 grand.
So the only thing I can think is that you donate the body, and then there's gotta be handling fees. You know what I mean? Like, and not to be weird, but like I remember when my great grandma died, my uncle, who's just like, you know, he's like, let's not pay for like transportation. I'll seatbelt her in the back seat, and I'll drive her to where we need to go. And everyone's like, you know, like that's, you know, and I'm like, fucking do it. Who cares?
I
You know,
get
just
it.
don't hit the brakes. You
Yeah.
know, but with that,
Dude,
being
I would have to swing by Taco Bell. I'd have to.
I'll
be like,
have what
hey, you want
she's
anything?
having.
I was drinking all night.
Don't bother my friend. He's dead tired. That's a deep commando cut. I know
Yeah.
Tony's laughing at it. He'll
remember,
laugh at
yeah.
it. So with that being said, I'm sure that there's handling fees. That's the only way I'm justifying this weirdness in my brain instead of like this for-profit body farm, right? Is that like, okay, well they probably had to like write off the fact that they had to pay for the cooling and everything else, and so I don't know. Like that's where I don't know. It's like where they have to justify the cost, right? But realistically, it's probably just paying for that dude's mortgage. Yeah.
Like, just pay him for his mom.
So-
I don't know why this is like, that doesn't
So
seem that
the
unreasonable.
fact that we're talking about an old lady's body, I hate that this is somehow going to be my segue into my topic for the night. So there's
Okay.
a long-running TV show that are always looking for something new, right?
Sure.
Any like long-running things are like, oh well, how can we spice things up,
Sure.
right? Well, you're familiar with The Bachelor,
Yes.
okay?
Well, how many seasons are they on now?
25.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're not familiar with The Bachelor, it's an elimination dating and reality show, well, where contestants they are trying to win the hearts over the same man and presumably like probably give each other herpes, right?
Can I ask, like, do they hook up?
yeah, dude, I'm
like-
pretty sure they bang, don't they?
I think I've heard
Okay,
joke.
We got the female and the
Okay, so you should
they
watch
fuck.
it. So this guy this guy plows
Yeah.
a contestant and then was like,
You gave it up too quickly.
All right.
You're out.
Let's-
You don't get a rose.
all right, well, let's see what she does.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about it. Like, that's
Yeah.
part of it. Like,
He's like, I'd like to give you this rose, but you kind of shuddered when I.
I think a
my
better
dry thumb in your
show.
butt.
I think a better show would be guys competing to be the Bachelor on the Bachelor, which just means
Just to
like
duke it out.
Yeah, it's just like that fighting show, and then all right, you get to like bang
Yeah,
20.
it's a new UFC. Dana White's like,
Yeah.
fuck. Anyway, okay, so now they've decided to spice things up, and
More than fucking all of them.
yeah,
Okay.
so like lock up your grandmas,
Oh,
guys.
cussing all of them. Sorry.
Lock up your grandmas because the new season will be its first senior edition called The Golden Bachelor.
Ah,
I know. So the newest bachelor, his name is Gary Turner, and he is 71 years young.
this is just an old folks' home.
Well, do you remember? We talked about this in the past too, but do you know that in old folks' home, literally, this is a real thing. In old folks' home, STDs go fucking bananas. Like they're like literally like what everyone. Okay, why aren't you not in your head? Everyone else is.
Dude, there's like
He's
titanium
he's
hip
like,
companies
"No."
handing out lube in those places. Like,
Oh man. Anyway, so now Gary Turner, he is hoping to show the world that it's not too late to find love, while simultaneously grossing out the viewers.
too
right?
late to find love.
It's. I will say though that like if you look up a picture, maybe you could put his picture up here for the YouTube viewers. But like Gary Turner, looks better than us. Like it kind of bums me out to say it. You know, like if you're gonna look him up, are you looking him up? It's Gerry, but pronounced Gary because he's an asshole.
Dude,
but it's Gary.
He's
Turner.
74. He grew up with
71.
that spelling of Gary in like the 70s.
I know.
He must have got that shit kicked out of him.
Yeah. All right, Jerry. So anyway, but in case you're nervous, like that they're gonna pair him up with like young ladies, because that would be pretty gross, right? It'd be like a Bond movie where they're like, all right, Daniel Craig is handsome, but he can't fuck that 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay, right? But it's even worse. You have to be 65 or older. So it's like
Wait, that's the rule?
for the contestants. Yeah, they're all 65 and older. And
Oh my god, this is gonna suck my wife in. She loves when old people like hold hands and shit like that. She's always like pointing it out, like just they're gonna hand each other roses and just
okay,
go to bed early. Like,
yeah, 6.
how many bathroom breaks? You imagine filming this show? There's like a small hand, like they get them all. They're all. I have to go to the bathroom again.
Yeah, that
like,
show
continuity.
That show better be sponsored by like Depends and Viagra.
Yeah.
Okay, but
go on what we gave you.
yeah.
Go.
So some of Gary's likes include.
Let her drip.
Stop it. Drip.
Yeah.
Ugh. You're lucky I don't have any grandmas.
They're like, let's move it outside.
All right. So anyway, some of Gary's likes includes like cheering for Chicago sports, a big sports fan. Right.
All right.
Hosting barbecues, which I can only assume he's wearing jean shorts and like the white New Balances, right?
Yeah.
And probably napping, you know.
Yeah.
But also he likes
Yelling at minorities.
stay off his lawn. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it also says that he likes to play. What do you think?
The field?
No.
Oh.
He likes to play pickleball.
Okay.
Which is my perfect entry for our first ad for the night.
Thought you were going there.
Are you tired of all the paperwork that comes with running a small business?
Am I?
Headache from hundreds of new tax laws?
You bet.
Well, let Jensen Accounting be your Tylenol. You can find them on Facebook by searching Jensen Accounting and Consulting here in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Thank
Just
God.
a quick jog from Rogan's shoes. God damn it. All right, take 5? I don't know.
No, that was pretty
Just
good.
yeah.
No, like, listen, no one's like, that's Rogan's shoes. Where's Rogan's shoes?
Yeah.
We crushed, and actually we made it funny, so now it's even a better advertisement.
There
It's
you
like the
go.
Old Spice. You're welcome, Jensen. You owe us more.
Yeah, this is for our pickleball enthusiasts.
You got to pay us double next time, which is still nothing.
Oh, man.
Actually, right into our next sponsor, you might notice my dad's beer here.
Yeah.
I got this from listener M and listener V from the Great Dane in Madison.
Yeah.
Fantastic
So
beers.
thank you very much. We actually we cracked open the Scotch one earlier, and that was
This is how I combat Lindsay's like, only 2 beers tonight. I'm like,
yeah. You gotta hold it with 2 hands though, like it's Dad's beer,
Yeah.
right?
get him a blue pop.
Blue Pop Light.
Okay, let's hear about Jerry. Like, is there more stuff?
No, that's the end of it.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm really they haven't released the contestants because I was like, I need to see who these old bitches are.
Honestly, if they
right?
get married and he dies 6 years later, that's longer than a lot of the marriages out of that show will last.
So I almost put this in, but I took it out because I misread it because I was like too excited. But like they were like, yeah, we've got the contestants. It was like some guy like being interviewed about it. They're like, yeah, we've got all the contestants lined up because all this shit's like filmed a while ago. And but they have all the contestants lined up. But I thought he said they were all very touchy, and so blah blah blah. But they're in different positions in their life. I'm like, what? You know, like just picturing like how'd you run anything to be on the show, right?
Yeah.
But it said it was all very touching, and I was like, that's not as gross.
Can you imagine your grandma fighting with another grandma for Jerry?
Dude, I'm sorry, Gary's a good-looking guy.
Fine.
Like Did you looked him up? He's a
pretty
handsome dude. He looks better than us. You look better than us. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I didn't like Google. Now let's see what Gary Turner looks like shirtless. But you can't find it. There's no shirtless pics. I was like, fuck you.
Gary's
got
keeping
that
it.
on him.
I want to go in something. I saw a new video. It was what's the new generation? The Generation Z.
Is it?
Like the who's 18 right now?
I don't know. It's probably Generation Beta. The way that fucking.
Okay. So it was a video where someone was complaining about
you.
being time blind. Have you heard of this time blindness?
No.
Okay, so time blindness, and it says right here, not
Like-
an actual medical condition.
Okay, so time blindness. Can I guess?
Yes.
Okay, so time blindness means that. Oh my God, are you older than you feel?
No.
Or so you could be on the contestant. You could be a contestant on the. Sorry, I'm time blind. I want to get fucked by a 71-year-old man.
Yeah. I think someone too old walks up and Gary's like, I'm not time blind. Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Or like Chris Hansen's like, why don't you have a seat? I'm time blind. I thought she's
Yeah.
37.
Yeah. It's not that.
Damn it.
So time blindness is the fancied up term for just being late. But it was a video where basically
Like
like
you don't give a shit about the clock?
no, like a Gen Zer was like, I was late to work, but here's the thing. It's not my fault that I was late to work. It's because I have time blindness. And that's a new term being thrown around by people with ADHD, which apparently I have too. And I am time blind. but
I'm sorry, but like people that are late, that is the best way you could tell me that you feel like your time is more important than my time. I fucking cannot stand and not.
you sound kind of racist against the time blind among us.
Is this a racist thing?
I don't know.
Oh,
They use
okay.
words all over it.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But no, I was gonna say like, and granted, I don't know if it's because I'm a Marine, but it's like, what happens? When people are late. People fucking die. You know. So it's like I don't know. Like early's on time is late. You know. So
Well, I thought this video
hate
was.
that shit when
I thought
people are
this
late.
video was just Kizzy or whatever that was earlier.
no kizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, it's saying that like, no, I'm not late. It's just that my brain has difficulty keeping track of time, which kind of sounds a lot like Jim Jeffries' joke, where it's just like, no, my kid's not stupid. He just has trouble remembering information, which is textbook stupid.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
but this
man.
is like a new thing, and this video is calling for employers to be sensitive to those who have time blindness among us. So I have time blindness now. You are no longer allowed to be mad at me if I am ever late.
Well, or you can get mad at your girlfriend if
it's
she's
not my fault.
time blind and she's pregnant. That's a late joke. No, she's late.
Well, you were time blind. You didn't pull out.
Oh my God, no concept.
Time
of
blindness affects us all.
Yeah, time blind,
So-
cream pie till I die.
So that was a little new thing. Like, I don't know, it's gaining traction, but they do say this is not a medical condition yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair
All
enough.
right. Man. All right. So now we always talk about space stuff here on the Cup podcast, right?
Yeah.
Jake's a giant space nerd, and so he likes to like I don't know. You say things to me where I'm like, I love looking at telescopes, but half the shit I'm like, oh cool, that's a bright thing, right?
Sure.
You know, but I still love it. It's entertaining to me. But you get down to like the nerd level of it.
Dude, the nerd level of stuff is super interesting. Like
Yeah,
the James
but
Webb Telescope is
and I mean,
incredible. Like, just watch anything about it.
It's amazing. I absolutely love it. I mean, like I love like all the Google image searches of like nebulas and stuff. It's
Sure.
amazing. So with that being said, do you remember the space race of the 1960s?
I do. Between the U.S. and Russia, correct?
Okay, well, you're forgetting one.
All right.
Zambia?
Haven't heard of their space program.
You didn't know about this?
No.
Are you serious?
No, I
You
didn't.
don't remember the Afronauts?
I know this is a bit, but I'm going to go with it. No, I don't remember the
By the way,
astronauts.
by the way, I did not come up with the term Afronauts. So before we get flagged on like TikTok for hate speech,
I got to say, it looks like it fits the helmet well.
so I like that's pretty funny. Take two. So anyway, it looks like it fits the helmet well. Yeah, I know.
Holy
Thanks,
shit.
guys. So anyway, so the leader of the Zambian Space Program, his name is Edward Nolozo. It's NKOLOSO.
Okay.
He coined the term Afronauts.
Okay.
He's a Zambian native.
Okay.
And I had no idea that Zambia, the country of Zambia, and if you're not familiar with where Zambia is, it is about dead nuts center in the continent of Africa, just south of the equator.
Okay.
So, with that being said, they had plans for their astronauts to go to the moon and also, like if they had time, pop by to Mars.
All right.
I'm not kidding. So his goal was to send
Is
his
this for the Globetrotters? Sorry.
His goal was to send his well-trained astronaut, which the main one is her name was Matha Mamba. All right, she's a 16-year-old girl.
Can I ask, Is this in the 60s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This
Sure.
is during the space race.
Okay.
With the USSR, the big ones. You know, you got the big three. You've got
I'm on the hook.
Zambia.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, the United States.
I'm right here.
And the USSR, right?
I want to clarify. Is this happening now?
I
or
just
back
also
then?
want to say,
back
like,
then, I'm much more on the hook than I was.
Side note: Lebanon was in there too, literally, because they built a couple students built some rockets. But anyway, they were
Okay.
part of the big four. Okay, so anyway, the Afronauts with Edward's goal was to send Martha, which is a 16-year-old girl, and 2 cats to the moon. And now there were also other plans, like again, like I said, for them to pop by Mars.
Okay.
And I know what you're thinking where did he come up with this idea?
I'm
right?
just thinking, thank God they didn't get Von Braun. I mean,
That's Operation Paperclip for those of you that aren't familiar, where they had yeah. Anyway, so Von Braun. So anyway, so Edward, like,
their October sky is different.
I know
Keep
you're
going.
wondering
Yeah.
where Edward may have got this idea, and it was he was initially inspired during his first plane ride. This is real. Edward's initially inspired during his first plane ride because he was frustrated when the pilot refused to stop the plane midair so Edward could walk along the clouds.
I too have felt this way.
This is real. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna make my own space program with blackjack and hookers, right?
Okay, sure.
You know, so but he decided that's where he like made his mind up that he was gonna start his own space program in Zambia, and I know that you're probably curious about some of the sophisticated training that his astronauts would endure, right?
Sure.
I'm gonna list them all for you. By the way, you can look this up on YouTube. There are like specials on this. So if you look up the Zambian Space Program,
I've
this
never
is real.
heard of this at
I'm
all,
not
like,
kidding.
yeah.
You will see Edward. He
For
went-
YouTube listeners, whatever I find, I'll put up here.
Yeah.
Like little.
By the way, Edward, he wears a cape in a lot of.
This guy keeps getting
stuff.
better.
Yeah, it's great. So anyway, some of the sophisticated training of the astronauts, I mean, it is high tech.
Okay.
So they would put the astronauts in a 55-gallon oil drum and roll them down a hill.
All right.
They would jump in unison and clap their hands over their head.
It's hard to do.
I know. And then they also trained the feeling of simulated weightlessness, right, on a tire swing. And then when they would sit there and swing, pump back and forth, and then as the rope swing hit its highest point, they would cut the rope.
Yeah.
And so then the astronauts got to experience weightlessness. I'm not making this up. This is real. I'm being very fucking serious.
Listen, everybody laughed at the training montage in Cool Runnings.
Yeah, like
I'm
John
just-
Candy.
I'm just
One
saying.
of these days you got to do this on your own.
Everybody thought this was the silliest thing in the world,
Yeah.
but they would have got on the podium if it wasn't that fucking skate and that bolt.
Yeah. So anyway, they were also given, now this is real, the astronauts, they were also given very specific instructions for when they encountered the inhabitants of Mars.
Of course.
Now the goal of the Zambian space program was to not only obviously reach space before, like, you know, the whatever the other countries were, was like U.S. and like USSR or something,
Tiny,
right? Yeah.
insignificant
So,
northern hemisphere countries.
Before they were, that was the primary goal, was to get into space.
Right.
The secondary goal when they reached Mars, and this is real, was the goal of the program was to establish a Christian ministry to any primitive Martians, but not force Christianity onto them. Okay, you know, obviously you have to like zhuzh them in and like
You make them want it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
make them wonder about the salvation.
Exactly.
All right.
Now, can you guess some of the problems that prevented his rocket from leaving Earth?
Yes.
Let me hear some of them.
Ignition problems. I imagine friction from the air would be an issue. I imagine gas. The gasoline that he was probably trying to use, like from a gas station,
Okay.
wasn't giving significant thrust.
Sure.
Vacuum of space is tricky.
So, what one was like a lack of funds.
Okay.
All right. They were given money by the Zambian government and everything. Like, there was some funding, but they didn't have enough funding.
Sure.
Obviously, rocket fuel was nearly impossible for them to get.
Okay.
But his primary astronaut, the 16-year-old girl, she got pregnant.
Ah,
And
that's extra weight.
Yeah. Well, hold on, because if you're wondering what the rocket looked like, this is real and horrific if you're claustrophobic. But the tube of the body of this rocket was so small that it was literally like, there's no way a 16-year-old girl who's pregnant is going to fit in here. It's only a 16-year-old girl.
It worked.
It was just a
except
tube.
for the belly.
It worked except for the belly. Like, honestly, you could see her get into it. You're like, that's your coffin. Like, that's but anyway,
What happened to this pioneer then? Were they out of 16-year-old girls in Zambia? Like,
I mean, yeah, apparently.
like this girl hasn't been on the swing and jumped off yet. She doesn't know what to do up there.
Well, but sadly, obviously the Zambian, NASA spinoff never, I guess
Never
took
came up?
flight. Yeah.
Okay.
And but I am kind of curious. So, what do you think that the Zambian NASA? Because NASA is obviously an acronym which stands for.
I have no idea. National Association Space. I have no idea. There you go.
Okay. Thanks, nerd. Okay, you got called out. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, what do you think the Zambian version of it would be?
The Zambian Space Program?
No, if it was NASA, what do you think it would be?
ZASA?
No.
I don't know what you're
so
asking me.
Here's my acronym. No astronauts survive atmosphere. NASA. Because, you look at those things, literally, they didn't even have an air tank. It was literally, I really want you to show pictures up. And
I'll
honestly,
find, whatever I find, I
listeners-
will put up.
Listeners, if you're just listening, here's your stop a Google moment where you just look up 1960s Afronauts or Zambian Space
Sure.
Program. Look up the rocket. It is
I'm excited about this. I'm excited by this because this sounds like actually kind of a good story.
It is a good story. But I'm glad it never happened because that would have
Yeah.
been we would be talking about the death of a 16-year-old girl
And a
but
pregnant 16-year-old girl.
But it is nice to know that other countries have their own dipshits, their own dipshits building rockets because
Yeah.
it's sending people to their untimely deaths.
Sure.
Because I feel like every few years there's some in America there's some redneck flat earther who's just build himself this rocket that also doubles as his crematorium.
I'm sorry. That guy's a hero. I'm not gonna poke fun at someone who has the balls to build a rocket, step in it, go 2,000 feet up in the air, and have it explode. That's a real story that happened to that guy.
I know it is, and that's what I'm referencing. But you're also saying do you remember we talked about the guy who was I built my own parachute suit in Paris?
Sure.
Do you remember this? There's a guy who's I built my own parachute suit. You guys watch this too. Here's a nice stop a Google moment. But the guy's he didn't test his parachute suit with sandbags. He tested himself.
Listen,
And he
I
literally
don't
just dirt darts into
I don't
the
have a
ground
problem
off
with
the
this.
Eiffel Tower.
I will always encourage entrepreneurs that if they don't succeed, they die. Because if
Well,
they
can't
do,
try again.
they've
That's the
provided
problem.
something new.
Man, I gotta be honest with you. You told me not to do this, but I'm just gonna do it. This is a very listener alert here. Jake just went out and smoked pot.
No, I didn't. Adam, that's not fair. Just because you can't hold up your part of the bargain. We're going to go right into the next thing.
No, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna tell you right now. Right now, Jake is you're gonna witness Jake melt because it's a ticking time bomb. And with that being said, it's very reminiscent. You're making me think about the time I remember when I hang out with my favorite uncle. My favorite uncle when I was a teenager, he'd be like, "Hey, you're at my house. I'm your uncle. Here's a beer." I'm like, "All right." And then
cool guy.
I'd come back to my dad's house, and my dad would be like, "Were you drinking? You're over at Rob's house." And I remember play cool. And I would put an elbow on the foot of his bed and well, let me pontificate over the question you're asking me. And then then sitting there trying to act in my brain I'm going, "That's not so. Of course I haven't been drinking, good sir." And the whole time my dad's "Let me smell your breath." I'm like, "Well, that's a good question." And I appreciate that the request. Therefore, I have had NyQuil or something, when I'm just fucking making something up. So anyway, so
That's
I'm
me.
so Jake is.
I'm you in that. You're
no,
your
you're
dad.
my dad.
No,
I'm the drinking one.
well, you're interrogating me.
Yeah.
I'm pretending to not be that. Like
Do
you
you-
said, I'm fine. You're the dad.
Yeah,
Go.
I feel like Ben. We should. You know
my
who
God.
should what's it? Ben Stein. You have dry, clear eyes.
You broke me. Still here.
All right,
still
so
willing.
anyway,
ready
so
to
I-
give.
So guess what? I have a Threads update.
Okay.
Remember what Threads is, Jake?
Threads is the Twitter competing app nowadays that Zuckerberg is going to fight Musk over.
As of this week, the new app Threads has lost half of its users.
Yeah, because there's nothing on it.
I think
like
it's really
there's
funny.
still nothing on it. I don't know what to do
I've
with
got
it.
some. You have it.
I mean, I have it, but you open it and there's nothing. There's no
There's
homepage.
no like monkey smelled his finger and like it smells like poop and it falls off the.
There's nothing
branch.
hooking me. Exactly. I'm like, there's not a single
It's like a
monkey throwing
2005
poop.
cut right there,
Yeah.
guys.
Every time you open, I'm like, okay, still like, hey, nothing. There's nothing new. So
Okay,
I guess
fair
my counterpoint is like, why wouldn't it? Because people are like,
Okay.
this is stupid. This is
I
dumb.
haven't been on it, but I appreciate you saying that because I had truly no idea. So but I do have some stats here. So Threads had 49 million users within 2 days of its launch on July 5th.
Okay.
Now, as of July 14th, which is just a couple days ago, it has dropped to 23.6 million. And so I'm guessing, or I'm sorry, what I should say is I guess that the average like user is plummeting as well. Based off what you just said, I do have stats here. They said that the average usage per like I guess as you're viewing on your phone
Right.
was started at 21 minutes. It has now dropped to, what do you think?
4.
Damn it.
What?
Right.
Is it?
2, 6. Fuck you both.
Okay.
All right, so it's supposed
mass-
to be higher. You're supposed to be like, oh, like 12? Anyway, so
well, like a massive drop of like,
it's
what's this?
it is a massive
know?
drop. So in that same time frame from July 5th to July 14th, which is not a lot of time, it is plummeted from 21 minutes to 6 minutes. And obviously the goal is to keep you like engaged and
Right.
on it, right? But I am kind of nervous that Meta is gonna, the metaverse that we're all in now. If you have Instagram, if you have Facebook or any other bullshit, you're part of the metaverse. And I'm a little nervous, like how Mark Zuckerberg's gonna fight back against this. It's gonna be like that. Remember, like in 2014 when like the new iPhone came out, they're like, probably also want this U2 album too. People are like, what the fuck
Yeah,
is
they
this?
gave it to you.
Like no, and people are like, I don't know how to delete it, and you didn't want it, right?
Right.
I feel like that's gonna be like the new Threads. We're like, guess what? You lucked out. We created your Threads account.
Oh, those, yeah,
like just start making you do it, right?
Yeah.
But I do love, like in last episode we talked about like the petty Betty between like the billionaire petty Betty between like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. So Mark Zuckerberg obviously is like creating Threads and trying to have some sort of combative app against Twitter.
Okay.
With that being said, Elon has been like, well, guess what? Twitter is now going to, he wants to add a formatted thing where you can have pictures and videos just like Instagram. You saw this too? Yeah, so I love that, like, this, like, pettiness is, like, all I can think is, like, good, I don't want any of you, but, no, like, I just like watching the billionaires fight.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing else to do except just have a bloodbath at this point, so
Jake, let me ask you this.
I am
What would-
melting a little
what-
bit. I'm just like, I want to let viewers know, like, it's hanging in there, but, like, yeah.
Hold on. What would be your best definition or example of existential dread?
Oh, they just discovered a black hole that's like 1,000 times wider than our own solar system.
Okay. And what is it doing? I'm just trying to spiral Jake right now.
Oh, come on, that's not fair.
Yeah. what's
Oh,
it
you're
doing?
trying to prime. I actually do that. I feel bad. I do it to Lindsay
Like-
sometimes.
Like I'm doing this, like, when you're with your lawnmower, you got to prime it a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, that's not fair.
I'm doing this to your butthole. Like, what? Like, just the thumb in. Keep going. Over here.
Continue your story.
I'm done. I want to hear your existential dread.
That was it. That there's a black hole that's literally 1,000 times.
And then what would it do?
Nothing. I think that makes everything very, very tiny. Is this a new game? It's like Freak Out Stone Jake. I'm not like, I don't hate it. I'm sitting there like, that's fun
All
to
right.
think about.
So Jake, can you please describe, and Renee's going to love this. Please describe in detail what a catfish is.
A catfish is a fun game we play because I brought Adam a bunch of stories that I thought were like the real thing, and they turned out to be a bunch of BS. And Adam thought it was fun to like make a game out of it, giving like one real story and then 2 fake stories, and then I have to pick and guess. Like I'm falling apart here.
Okay.
You can
to
hear
be
it a
fair,
little bit.
I will say this. To be fair, you really like pulled a homer there, and I guess this is your '90s Simpsons reference, but like you did a
Sure.
great job. So, new listeners, what I have here.
This is
So for new listeners, we're gonna end here on a catfish, okay? and then I'm gonna sweep Jake up, so or mop him. Are you turning into a puddle?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So with that being said, listeners and audience members here, we're gonna play a little game here. It's called a catfish, and what I have here is essentially 2 lies and a truth. So, number 1. A 106-year-old pensioner claims long walks and a full flask of whiskey to be a secret to a long life. Number 2. A 108-year-old woman says having dogs and not children may be her secret to a long life.
Okay.
Number 3. UK's newest centenarian credits staying single and never gambling to be his secret to a long life.
I think number 3. I agree. That one
3,
sounded like 3 sounded
1.
right to me right when I heard it.
2. What you got there in the back? He's
2.
got his phone. All right, what do you got?
3.
Okay, do you want me to read them again?
Sure.
All right, so number 1. A 106-year-old pensioner claims long walks and a full flask of whiskey to be his secret to a long life. Number 2. A 108-year-old woman says having dogs and not children to be her secret to a long life. Number 3. UK's newest centenarian credits staying single and never gambling to be his secret to a long life. 3.
Number 3.
3. 1, 2, 3.
3.
All right. So, a 108-year-old woman credits her long life to having dogs instead of kids. Ada Daniel was a proud owner of a lot of greyhounds when she was younger and joked that her canines were the secret ingredient to a long life. Well, now you know the famous saying, she would say, well, you know the famous saying, a greyhound a day keeps the doctor away.
Keeps the men away too when you have like 6 dogs.
Yeah, like especially the ones that can outrun you and
Yeah.
tackle you. All right, so we're gonna end the episode because Jake is melting, and I am
gone.
excited to tell you this.
Like there's a shell of me, but I'm like on the floor. It took effect. So
This is why we don't do it.
this is why we don't do it.
So this is like a dare program right now.
I do have control of this editing.
He does.
So
It's like,
and then
and we're back. All right,
yeah,
so
there we go. So we cut
all right,
that.
so thank you very much for joining us for 121 episodes. This has been Stone Jake and Sober Adam Riley. And before we go, I do want to say, go to Comedy Cabin at cabinlaughs.com where you can get all of your
I thought I was supposed to do this part.
wait.
I
All right,
thought I thought it would be so funny to hear me do this part and mess it up and laugh in the middle.
All right, so
Yeah.
here we go.
So we're
It's
gonna
at
go
the very top.
Comedy Cabin. Get away and laugh at Janesville's own comedy club featuring national touring comedians every week. You can get your tickets at cabinlaughs.com. Speaking from experience, the shows sell out almost every night. Go to support live comedy. Buy the ticket. You cussed in this. Buy the F word ticket so Nathan doesn't have to hang himself.
I should have put the N word in there
Yeah. So,
just to see what he'd read. Nincompoop.
okay. I feel like that was very nicely set up. So,
Yeah, there you go.
but
All
seriously,
right.
Comedy Cabin.
It is a great time. So thank you very much. This has been episode 121. And honestly, if you stayed this long, like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's your fucking problem?
We appreciate it. Have a great night.
We love you.
All right. Bye.
Go to our Patreon. Later, boners.
I swear, like, I
You
know.
okay?
No, I'm fine. Like,
I knew it was gonna happen.
No,
I
I-
fucking knew it. As soon as you go, look.
You met me at a very strange time.
Here, an audience, and you're stoned. I want you to do the fucking comedy cabin fucking the ad tonight.
you know, you're like, he's like, you're stoned. I'm like, I'm pebbled.
Yeah, you are a fucking. What you are right now is
Touching
an
cloth.
adult. You are an adulterous woman
Yeah.
in the Middle East.
If shitting your pants is stone, I'm touching cloth.
What's that Nicolas Cage movie where they're all in like inside of a fence
Face off.
with the big red monster thing scares them or whatever?
The Mark Wahlberg movie?
It's not the island, but it's like that. It's like the village.
The Village? That's
Oh,
Mark
yeah.
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg is in The
Isn't
Village?
it the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
You're
Wahlberg's
like,
in The
what's his?
Happening.
Adrian Brody's in it.
No, that's a Nick Cage.
In the Village?
Oh no, the Village.
Joaquin-
Wicker Man was Nick Cage.
Joaquin Phoenix is in
Same
the
era,
Village.
same
In The
era,
Village?
same time.
Isn't Adrian Brody like the dumb guy in that?
No, I don't think so.
Go Google
The
it.
pianist, the guy that invented the piano, Adrian Brody.
Tiny pianist?
I'm looking it up.
So like I found the spot.
It is. It is Adrian Brody.
Yeah, I found the spot. I got
Huh?
rid of it.
It is Adrian
I
Brody.
Yeah,
got to hear
he's like
this and that at the same time. And what I got from that was I found the spot. I cut the story, but I'm like, the last thing I heard was Adrian Brody in the Tiny Pianist? And I'm like, I'm gonna go see what's going on the right ear, because the left ear is boring compared to whatever the fuck that was. But he was in The Pianist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
but we're talking about The Village.
He was in the Village.
Mark Wahlberg was in The Village.
No.
Was he?
He wasn't. He wasn't.
No.
Joaquin
Kevin
Phoenix was
Kevin
in
Bacon
The
was
Village.
not in.
Well, yeah, Joaquin Phoenix was in The Village.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg wasn't.
Was this Wahlberg
Wahlberg was in The Happening. That was M. Night Shyamalan.
Come on.
And
And
Here.
that
What'd you say?
I
What?
said, was Joaquin Phoenix's hair lip in The Village?
I'm like, still a candle right now.
I'm so pumped for you to fuck this up.
No,
This is
I will
great,
land.
dude.
Yeah. You can hand me the thing to read?
You're gonna be like Carrie Strug, dude. You're gonna break your ankle on the landing. Somehow fucking make
See,
it.
I'm gonna come back from this. Here's the thing. I'll take it as a challenge. Here's the thing. I'm gonna lock it up. I'm gonna do what I do when Lindsay's like, "Have you been drinking?" And I say no. And then we talk about the day, and I try to not breathe on her so she doesn't smell booze. And I convince her that
I remember-
I'm gonna try to do that Stone Wise to Adam. I'm gonna like, and then we're gonna go. I think it's more fun if you wait till I mess up the first time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go
Because-
for it. It'll be fine. You do your part. I'll do mine. Feels like we have inertia right now. Do we have inertia? We have inertia. I'm gonna keep drinking the beer too, so
Are you time blind?
Yeah. He's gonna be crossfaded.
probably.
Oh my god.
Crossfire.
No kizzy.
No kissy.
Ready?
I remember the commercial.
3, 2, 1.